So some of you are going to come at me with this, but I can tell you without a doubt, this latest podcast with Andrew Tate and Bonnie Blue really opened my whole perspective on a lot of things that I've always thought about, right? This is one thing that I've always discovered about Andrew Tate and a lot of controversial speakers, is that the people who actually have the balls and the courage to come out and say what we silently think about are the ones that are on the front line to take the bullets. Those are the brave ones. And one thing I love about Andrew Tate is that he has an amazing way of delivering a message, not only to eloquently bring the facts, but to express it in a fashion that infuriates those who want to stay in a numb, almost in a state of denial and just feel that they should be blue-pilled to the point of not interested in hearing anything that contradicts from what they have been programmed to think. So, my friends, I want to introduce you to this one seriously controversial and totally eye-opening podcast. Listen, I'm here to educate. Sometimes you might not like the lesson, but the point is to bring you point of views so that it can force you to think. Think. That's it. So if it's too hard for you to swallow, my friends, then just switch off. But at the end of the day, if you want to broaden your mind, then you need to listen to both sides of the conversation. Okay? Let's get into it, my friends. Hit the like button, please. Subscribe if you haven't already. And remember to sign the petition in order for us to get the laws changed so that every man can be sure that the child that he is signing a birth certificate for is his. Mandatory paternity testing on all newborns from this day forward. Let's get into this. Get ready to be blown away, my friends.
You are the perfect end result of feminism. That's destructive.
By the time you finish calling me a whore, I'm going to leave this chair with a wet patch.
Rob, the world's bring the asteroid.
Do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years.
So sleeping with 1,057 men in a day.
It's good work ethic.
We live in clown world, and I just enjoy the circus.
Sex workers help reduce rape rate by over 30%.
Do you think Andrew Tate is guilty of the charges against him?
You like there's no way out for you.
You're so trapped in the matrix.
You're judging me, Andrew.
Feminism is a bullet that a man has shot.
Do you send your son to Bonnie?
Andrew, I do father and son as well. Brother and brother?
It's all disgusting to me.
I heard they call you Cobra Tate. Are you packing a python?
Bonnie.
I would have killed it to survive.
The entire Western world is women f***ing for money.
Imagine how powerful our baby would be.
Survivor DNA.
So who's tighter, your wife or me?
Next question, huh?
Let me answer then.
What's happening with Lily? You got Hobie.
Well, I'll tell you the full story.
Cool. Would I f*** Bonnie for all the power in the world?
Yeah.
And this channel is called The Disruptor. Of course, I'm going to put the link to this particular podcast in the description of this video at the top so you guys can go there. It's almost 2 hours long. It's a long one, but it's a good one. So I would encourage you guys to go and watch it.
Andrew, what do you think of Bonnie Blue sleeping with 1,057 men?
How honest should I be out of 10?
11. I want you to be honest.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, go on.
I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism. You are the perfect end result of feminism. In the world I believe in the conservative, traditionally masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. You know, women complain that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared, and they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices.
I heard no lie. I heard no lie. Every single one of you complain about the same thing. With it coming out of Andrew Tate's lips, does the message hit different with you? And this is what I want you guys to wake up and understand. A lot of you have been poisoned by the media. A lot of you feel that Andrew Tate should not be the spokesperson for you. But yet, a lot of what he says, you're thinking it, right? I need you to get outside of your head and stop what has been programmed into you. In other words, just because you have been tainted by the messenger, that does not entitle you to dismiss a good message. You have to learn to disassociate yourself from the messenger and the message. Because if the message is factual, it doesn't matter where the information is coming from. And I think that a lot of us have been programmed to think like this through mainstream media. Because the second a politician wants to discredit a message from someone, they first have to destroy the messenger's reputation. Once the messenger's reputation have been destroyed, they have then associated the fact that, why are you listening to a guy who actually cheated on his wife? But that has nothing to do with the message. No, that has everything to do with the message. And then they associate the two. That's how we've been programmed, you see. I just want you guys to start looking at facts, using your critical thinking skills, observe what's going on in the world, and then take yourself into a position where you're only observing and absorbing the message.
So she's making her own choice. That's a fantastic thing. Yeah. I actually have a lot of respect for you because you own it and you're honest about it.
What if it was your daughter?
Well, that won't happen.
But she's her own person.
I never said my daughter's her own person. I said women want to be their own people. But my point is, there's so many women who go to Magaluf for a weekend and do something very similar, and then they come back to England and get with some fucking guy and start asking for presents from him and talking about how they deserve a traditional relationship and they want to get married and they want a Christmas present and all this bullshit. Most women do exactly what Bonnie does. I don't see you any different than most women. And I'm not saying that in a degrading way.
Most women don't sleep with 1,057 men in a day.
1,000? Does it fucking matter?
I think it does.
I don't really think it does.
So
it's all disgusting to me. If I met a woman and she said, I just sucked a dick yesterday, I'd say, well, I find you repulsive. I don't want to sleep with you. Goodbye.
What, so you're only going after virgins?
Well, it's not about only going after virgins, but I think if you're a straight man, the idea of having a bunch of men fuck a woman that you're with is pretty repulsive.
But everyone has a past.
But see, this is the kind of shit white people say. I don't know what's wrong with you people. Everyone has a past. That's not acceptable.
Exactly, he's freaking right. This idea that everyone has a past and they've made this a thing now as if that's acceptable. What kind of past? Just saying that in itself doesn't say anything at all. Everyone has a past. Oh, he's a serial killer, but he hasn't killed anyone in 4 years. Oh, he has sexually transmitted disease, but he hasn't transmitted it in 10 years. He used to be a gang member, but he's not gang banging anymore. He killed people in the past, but he don't do that anymore. At what point are we going to just say everybody has a past and then make it acceptable to then accept that person? The point is, it depends on what type of past. If my past consists of me staying disciplined, staying morally grounded, for me taking care of my body and respecting myself and not throwing myself around. And I'm talking from a woman's perspective. And she did not conduct herself in a fashion that was not conducive to getting a good marriage. Then that past dictates what kind of future I can give her and what kind of future I expect from her. But a bad past of 1,057 women, that is not a good past I'm willing to take a gamble on. 100 women? That is not a pass I'm going to take a freaking gamble on either. So Andrew has a point. Whether it's 1,057 or 57 men or 60 men at age 25, I need to freaking look at you differently. I understand that his job is to dig and to get his guests to elaborate and to expand on their conversation. But Andrew's right. Unfortunately, they're both right here.
In fact, let's analyze that. Everyone has a past. You're right. Everyone does have a past. It's true. But isn't the primary objective of a man to find a woman with as little past as possible? Would you argue that's one of the precursors to finding a wife? Considering that wives were supposed to be virgins. This was the deal. The reason I'm proud of Bonnie, and I am genuinely proud of you, I like Bonnie. I like what she's doing. Because the deal was...
Are you not, contradicting yourself here?
In what way?
Well, you're proud of her sleeping with 1,057 guys, but women should be virgins.
No, I'm saying that the social contract, the construct of society that made family function, was women were obedient virgins and they found a man who provided for them and they listened to that man. Women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
Yeah,
I'm not here to
people
tell you not to do
say
it.
I take women back 100 years. I'm like, no, I'm the clear example of how to be empowered. I use my body. I do what I want, when I want. And this is the thing you've been banging on about for years. And when I get hate, like when I click on the comments of these women that are like, oh, you're taking us back 100 years, then in their bio it says stay-at-home mom of 2. I'm thinking, what the fuck was you rooting for?
That's
because
right.
you have just stayed
That's
at
right,
home.
Bonnie. See, this is the future.
And Bonnie's right. We've given women these choices, and some women have taken those choices to an extreme, which is what Bonnie did. So, listen, I can disagree 100% of how extreme she's taken it, but society can't blame her. That's her choice. You gave her that choice. So now that she has that choice, you can't then say, oh, no, we didn't want you to go that far. There was no stipulations in the freaking contract, was there? That I had to only sleep with an X amount of men. Wouldn't that once again be holding my choices back or restraining my choices? Listen, man, what you're experiencing right here, my friends, is a serious social examination of what society have done to women. I am glad I got to actually watch this video because I'm telling you, I'm showing you the destructive force of when women are given choices in its purest form. And that's from Bonnie. And then on the other side, Andrew's breaking down exactly where and how men have destroyed and are responsible for this social change. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is fantastic. It's exactly what Western society is headed to. So why are we going to sit here and pretend this is not? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that most women who go on girls' holidays aren't doing something similar to what Bonnie does just because it's not on camera? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that these men who walk around with their wives in the pub in England, and they're like, oh, my wife, yeah, everyone has a past. Oh, no, she's done the same shit. What's the difference? Who gives a fuck, right? We're either going to care and accept that women are judged on their past and judged on their innocence and judged on their naivety and judged on these things like it used to be, or we're going to sit and say it doesn't matter, everyone has a past. Well, if everyone has a past, everyone has a past. Who gives a fuck? Does it really matter?
So
anymore?
What would you do if it was your daughter, though?
But why are you asking impossible questions?
Well, it's not an impossible question.
Of course it is.
How?
It can't happen.
All right, Andrew's trolling, obviously. But if you had asked me the same question, if my daughter, I have 2 daughters, 16 and 18, if any of them decided to start on OnlyFans and do exactly what this woman did, I would have personally felt that I have failed as a father. From ye height, from the time I taught them how to be respectful of themselves, respectful of others, and more importantly, respectful of the family name. So I have instilled a certain amount of moral codes in them from a very early age without making them feel like they don't have a choice. My wife and I live a life that made them realize and made them see examples of good human beings who contributes back to society, who are hardworking, and how to actually earn an income, and have showed them ways that people are earning very good incomes without actually compromising on their morality. So I understand what Andrew is saying without really saying it. It's impossible because I'm sure that he would instill these same values in his daughters. But that's what happens when you have a father in the home.
But anything can happen.
It's against the laws of physics.
It's not.
I mean, if your daughter opened her legs and took 1,000 dicks, it's not impossible.
Of course it is.
What?
Why
I mean,
is
the
it
dicks
impossible?
would enter her pussy, therefore she's taken.
It's literally impossible for my daughter.
What, are you going to be there against your daughter's pussy saying that dick's not entering it?
No, my daughter just wouldn't make that decision.
But why?
Because I still raise her in a household where she is masculinely guided, and she will be guided by me until I hand her over to some other man. However, I believe when women are left to their own devices, they will only ever make stupid decisions.
Was mine a stupid decision?
I wouldn't say it's any more stupid than most decisions women make, to be honest with you. I think that most women, to some degree, are sex workers anyway.
This is where women turn off because they don't want to hear the truth, even though Andrew is absolutely 100% correct.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
let's be honest about it, right? Most women look at Miami or Dubai. What's your job? Oh, I've got a boyfriend. So your job is being a girlfriend. And why does he give you money? Because you give him sex. So most women are sex workers anyway, to be honest.
But isn't that what you said the family unit was?
Well, then you're a sex worker with one customer. You know, which is nice. I guess it's better. It's more efficient.
But what about if you're raising children? That's not sex work, is it?
No, that's being a mother.
Yeah.
All right, so that's interesting, Rob. Rob said this, not me. So they're either virgins, sex workers, or mothers. Are those the three categories?
I think you're putting words into my mouth.
I think that's what Rob just said. Those are the three categories.
I'm just sat in the middle.
And women have to choose to be one of them.
So is that what you think?
I think that when a woman becomes a mother, she has a purpose. And I think that women should be having children as soon as possible. And I think it gives their life a direction. And I think it's the most important thing to preserve society, especially if you want to talk about geopolitics and talk about race and all of these things. If you want to have a country that looks like the country it used to be, you need to have the original people from there having children. I think all of that is true. Absolutely. I think.
And he has a point. The reality of it is simple. We're biological creatures. We're mammals. Part of every biological imperative is to reproduce. I've said this in many videos. The problem is we're one of the few species that have no predators to eliminate us, but we're eliminating ourselves. Make that shit make sense. Every other species that have gone extinct, they've had an external force that have made them extinct, whether it's environmental or whether it's predatory. They've had superior predators in the environment. And of course, biological. Well, that could also be environmental, meaning something in the water or biologically, some virus got into the species and it was passed on to other species and they couldn't evolve fast enough and it wiped them out. I'm going too far into evolutionary biology, but the point is that we are not reproducing ourselves and there is no external factors except us. Feminism, the virus that has instilled itself in us, where we have been told we don't need to reproduce, we can just look for pleasure. And that has been infiltrated and instilled into our feminine species, enforced and backed up by simp men. That's where we are in society.
I think every day a woman goes without having kids is primarily a waste of time. But once again, what does it matter what I think? Rob, I've given up. I've given up trying to save the world. I've given up. No, Rob. I've given up.
Haven't.
I've given up on misogyny and all this shit.
No, you haven't.
They attacked me with the Matrix. They keep throwing me in jail. I am now all for women empowerment. I think women should run around fucking as many men as they want. I like what Bonnie's doing. She's getting the bag. She's getting rich. Most girls out here don't want to have kids. They just want to get Birkin bags and Instagram likes. Good. I'm a feminist, a pro-feminism. This is the world now. How the world's going to end up, who gives a fuck? Who cares about the future?
Oh, he's a professional troll, man. But I can see his frustration because when the man speaks up and he has that much, and when he has that much of a following and he's this powerful, they will come for you, my friends. They will. I honestly feel that he's the man that just poked his head a little bit too high above the freaking fence, and someone with a gun on the other side are taking shots at it.
See, women go around, use sex to their advantage, but then are happy to cry about it straight away, saying, oh, he took advantage of me. And it's like, you're the one that wanted to do sex to have like the job promotion, or you're the one that wanted to have sex to get more attention or try and be more liked, but then they cry about it. And that's what I get frustrated about. And even with porn stars, like people in my industry, they'll do this for a few years, get the money, get the boob jobs, get the house. And then suddenly they go, oh my God, I was forced into the industry. Oh my God, someone took all my money.
Have you ever considered a job as a lawyer? Because no. I could do with you. You're 100% right. So this is the false dichotomy of society, right? So this is the reason when I said I like what Bonnie does, because Bonnie completely 100% owns what she does. And she says, it's my decision.
Don't think that this woman is stupid. She's freaking smart. This is the second time I've actually listened to her speak. She knows exactly what she's doing and she has no regret. She's taking full responsibility for what she's doing and she enjoys it. But more importantly, she's quite shrewd when it comes to business and understanding life. You got to get over the fact that she's had a hell of a lot of D inside her and just listen to what she's saying because she's explaining today's modern woman in great detail.
And I've seen people try and lecture you. I've seen people sit there and try and lecture you and say like, oh, but you're a creature of God and you shouldn't be doing this. No, you should do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
It's up to you to do whatever you want. And you're not saying anybody tricked you into it. It's your decision. And let's be honest, when they talk about taking women back 100 years, let's actually be very honest here, Rob. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
There's always been whores.
It's the oldest profession.
Ancient Rome had whores. There's always been whores. The Aztecs had whores. You think there weren't concubines in the fucking Ming dynasty sucking little Chinese pee-pee? Of course there were. There's always been whores. It's the oldest profession in the world.
Exactly.
So do you think it's a legitimate job.
Well, I mean, no, check her bank. I'm sure she's making fucking loads of money. So here's where do you draw the line? If we're going to live in this false dichotomy, because the world was very simple once, not too long ago. And men had this terrible misogynistic view, which I, of course, don't agree with, that women can't make their own decisions because they're naturally chaotic. Men, in their disgusting misogyny, believed if you gave women the vote, we'd end up with open borders and drag queen story hours. So they didn't give women the vote. Then they did give women the vote, and society took a particular direction. But when men were in charge of things, women didn't have to worry about what they can do with their life because their father took care of it and then their husband took care of it. But now we live in a brand new world where women can make all of their own decisions. And the path she's chosen, I don't think is any different than most paths women take. I think she's just more honest about it and more upfront about it. If you're going to go to Dubai and meet a girlfriend and you think she hasn't been fucking for money the entire time she was living in Dubai, then you're an idiot. If you're in Miami and you got girls on your boat and you think they're not fucking for money all of the time, now they may not say per hour, but they'll be fucking a guy they barely like to get the rent paid, or they're fucking a guy they barely like because he has a car.
Yeah.
So women are fucking for money all the time anyway. That's all women do now. The entire Western world is women fucking for money. So how hypocritical would it be for me to sit here and say, Bonnie, who is honest, who monetizes it directly with her own media empire, who's upfront about it and makes money from it, is a worse person than the girl who walks around like she's goody two-shoes and then sucks dick in a Magaluf toilet. Because that's what most girls are doing anyway. Mm-hmm. Rob, the world's fucked.
I heard no freaking lies at all. Gentlemen, you let me know if you heard any lies. Every single woman who approaches you these days, what is the number one thing they want to know about you? Whether you're broke. That's it. That's it. Even though they're making their own money, they want to know if you're broke. No woman is getting with you if you're freaking broke. And what's the definition of broke? If you're not spending any money on her. So, how can you argue this point?
They're all like this. Rob, they're all the same.
Are you trying to say I'm not special now?
No, I'm saying you're special, actually, because you've gone so far through. You've come out as the queen of it. Congratulations.
Yeah. But didn't you say this kind of thing is the demise of Western society?
I mean, if I was a misogynist, I would believe this is the final end result of feminism and the end times are here and that nobody's going to have kids anymore and that the idea of a beautiful marriage between a man and a woman is now completely gone. I mean, if I was a disgusting misogynist, but since they keep raising...
But you don't have one beautiful marriage, do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Have you slept with 1,057 women?
At least.
So are you quite similar?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's the male's prerogative to impregnate as many females as possible. This is the masculine prerogative. This is biologically my prerogative is to do that. I
think we should do a breeding competition. We'll see if you can get a girl pregnant quicker than I can get pregnant.
Well, I mean, that'd be a good competition. I think I'd win. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one, but it's interesting because you have to look at society. When you look at these things, you have to look at society from an animalistic perspective and a societal perspective. From the animalistic perspective, it is the masculine imperative to get as many women as possible pregnant.
Yeah, but if you
want to be purely
it's
animalistic.
It's not 1,512.
No, but let's be purely animalistic. Let's talk about this like professionals.
Well, yes, and this is the problem that I always have with today's modern feminist argument. They literally want to be like men, just to have massive amounts of bodies. And then they wonder why they're always so depressed. Some studies have shown that up to 62% of women who engaged in casual sex and hookups felt depressed and anxious and frustrated and disgusted after the event took place. Women are not designed to have casual hookups, but we tend to glorify this shit in the rap music, in the freaking Cardi B's and the Meg Thee Stallion and all of these different, in movies. And I mean, it's ridiculous how much it's highlighted online that, oh, it's so great. Women are encouraging other women to have their rotation and how many men they should have. And it's disgusting. But yet we condemn Bonnie Blue. It's mind-blowing, man. Just because she has larger numbers and she's telling you openly and she's recorded it. What? It should be something quietly done. That's what these women think. We should just quietly do our debauchery in silence. We can talk about it, but we shouldn't really tell big numbers. That's why so many women refuse to reveal their body count. The real liberal ones will do it, and the numbers are freaking disgusting. But Bonnie Blue just pushed it to the extreme, and she's proud to announce it because she's raking in millions, tens of millions a year from men who are paying to see this shit because she's become a spectacle.
If a man is a high value, high testosterone, alpha male, whatever you want to call him, right? His imperative is to impregnate women. And he wants to take care of those women and take care of those kids. He's not overly interested in the kids. It doesn't mean he doesn't love them. It means he doesn't want to sit there and play with them all day. When you see a man who wants to play with a baby all day, that man is probably gay. It's fucking boring.
Well, it doesn't mean he wants to fuck the kid.
No, he's gay. He's gay. So real men just want to pregnant, money, cool. See you an hour a week. Boom, boom, boom. Now, there's a lot of men who are going to disagree with me on that, but those are a lot of men I can beat the shit out of, so I don't give a fuck. That's the truth of it. The female imperative is to find a man who's obsessed with her so that when she gets pregnant, she's going to have protection and provision when she's not capable of looking after herself. That is the female biological imperative and the masculine biological imperative. I'm still living to my biological imperative to some degree. If I were to, let's say, have 4 or 5 women and I had kids with 4 or 5 women and I took care of 4 or 5 women and I was with all of them and they were exclusively only with me and we had children over and over and over again, that's my biological imperative. It's actually against the female biological imperative to do what Bonnie is doing, I would argue, traditionally. But that means you break paradigms. That's great. But feminism and society and this brand new societal conditioning is convincing women that what they're supposed to do, which is find a man they love and be obsessed with him and get pregnant from him, is the wrong thing to do. Well, then let's all just become sex workers now. But
you disagree with that feminist program.
I don't have an opinion, Rob, because I have 14 criminal cases. I don't have an opinion. I'm just here. I'm a commentator. I'm just commentating.
Commentators have opinions.
I don't have an opinion. No, I don't have an opinion. Women can do whatever they want. Women are fantastic.
Andrew's going to just troll the shit out of you right now because he knows what's going on with him. He knows others are watching. He knows that the authorities are watching him. For years, the man has had freaking outstanding, not charges, just they're sitting there, just hanging over his head. So anything he says here publicly, I'm sure it's going to be scrutinized.
We live in this great society now where women are girl bosses and better than us, while also are equals at everything, while also everything they do they regret was a man's fault somehow, as Bonnie described. They were tricked into it. So we live in this impossible situation where a man can't possibly win anyway, no matter what opinion he has. But I'm just saying it would be unprofessional and hypocritical of me to sit here and think that Bonnie is doing anything different or anything bad or anything wrong when she does the same thing 99.9% of Western women do anyway.
Okay, so Bonnie...
You get one extreme to the next. You get the women like me that are just sluts, and then you get the others that are lazy and won't even get on their knees and give a blowjob.
And they're sluts too. No, but this is the thing. They're sluts too. They're just sluts for a different guy, or they were sluts for their ex, and they're not sluts for the new guy. These women are sluts too. It's all the same.
Like I used to be a full service sex worker, like an escort, and I used to judge men that cheated. And then when I actually started speaking to these men, I was like, you know what? They've got a point. They're going to work. They're looking after their kids. They're still emptying the dishes because the wife's now refusing to do that, saying it should be equal. And then I say, well, when's the last time she gave you a blowjob? When's the last time she fucked you? They couldn't name it. They couldn't even list the amount of times where they've had sexual intercourse. I'm like, of course you're going to need that. Of course you're going to cheat. So how can I ever say women are anything but lazy and poorly educated?
And she's perfectly right. I mean, the calls are coming in on my chat as well. When last you had sex is a common question I always ask men who are in troubled relationships. 99% of them say 3 months, 4 months, a year. I had one guy that said, I haven't had sex with my wife in 3 freaking years. I said, are you getting it anywhere else? He said, well, I got to get it professionally, but I only do that probably once every 4 months or so. So Bonnie's telling the truth. And all of us, every single one of the men that are watching this, we know she's telling the truth. But like I said many times, men have not looked at their wife's past, not determined how many bodies she had before they got to her, not realizing that that woman cannot find sex with one man in a monogamous relationship interesting or fun so that she can actually force herself to do it versus the amount of bodies that she's had in the past. And that is what has screwed up a lot of women. And this is one of the reasons and the strong points I make to my daughters on why they should not have high body counts.
So do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years. of
what?
Taking control of your body.
Correct.
Being independent. I earn my own money. I don't rely on a guy. I'm
Girl
paid
power.
Exactly. I'm paid more than other
100%.
guys.
100%.
Do you think
she is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years? Absolutely correct.
And now
I'm not
going to
sit here and lecture you about God. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, that's all bullshit. She is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years.
Yeah.
Women believe that they can do whatever they want.
Do you think they should be able to?
Listen, brother, I have 14 criminal cases. I don't want to be called a misogynist by the BBC. That would break my heart. That's not up to me. We're all individual sovereign people, and we make our own decisions. If women want to run around and do whatever they want to do, it's up to them. My point is, all women, on some scale, are doing what Bonnie Blue is doing. However, Bonnie Blue's just the best at it. She's the best. She's the queen of it. So why? It's
not all women are doing.
Let me ask you a question. If a man walks into Starbucks and steals a chocolate bar, he's a thief. Yeah, correct.
Not in London.
Well,
it's legal.
Yeah. And if a banker manages to liquidate a ton of stock illegally in the stock market or rip off a bunch of people with a false investment fund, whatever it is, he's a thief, right? The morality is the same, whether you're stealing from the Wall Street or you're stealing from Starbucks. The morality of it is the same. But people will sit there and argue that the banker is somehow worse than the guy who stole the chocolate bar because of how much he stole. I wouldn't argue there's a difference in morality. There's a difference in capability. But the morality is the same. The banker's just smarter.
You got to admit, man, the guy's spitting facts. You tell me in the comment section if what he said didn't make sense to you or if you think he's wrong. We will quickly condemn that guy that stole the coffee or whatever in Starbucks because he's a bum. But the white collar crime that took place, oh, he's clever or he's sharp. He's the man. Guess which one the woman will flock to faster? The guy who stole the Starbucks or the guy who ripped off Wall Street? Exactly. You know the answer to that.
I'm just a clever slut.
You're just very good. Yeah. She is very good at what she's decided to do. If you're going to be a whore, and most women watching this, and most men, hello, your wife, yeah, her, they're all whores anyway. If you're going to be a whore, no disrespect, you may as well be fucking good at it. Get a media empire, get rich, let everyone know your name, and get paid. Why are you going out to the pub, getting drunk, and meeting a man who's funny, and getting fucked in a toilet for free? Are you dumb?
They are, though. Women are stupid.
They're stupid. So Bonnie's just the smartest. She's the Wall Street banker of this whole shit. I respect that much more than these other girls. Rob, I grew up in Luton, England, bruv. You think I don't know hoes? You think I haven't seen it? You think I haven't walked in the toilet and some bitch has got 5 dudes hanging out of her? This is the Western world. This is feminism. This is what all you white boys wanted. All you white men listening to women all the time, women get to opinions all of a sudden. This is what you built. Congratulations.
So you blame men?
Well, 100% I blame men because everything's men's fault because men are the only ones who can apply force to scenarios. Women can't apply force. Men apply force. If there's something we don't like, we apply force to the situation. We could force this away. We could force most things away. So everything's absolutely men's fault. And this came from, the feminism and the women's sexualization and the liberation, a lot of it came from beta males hoping to get some pussy. That's what it came from. Bunch of weak men, though. If we told girls to be hoes, I might get a little bit. Because the natural order of the universe is the big gorilla, top G, smart. I'm so fucking smart. The big gorilla, top G, has a bunch of women, and then the small gorilla has nothing. This is the natural order of the universe. It's actually kind of still like that in many ways. There's a guy with the yacht with 10 wives, and then there's a guy with no yacht with no wife. It's kind of like that. But beta males didn't like that because they couldn't obviously compete with the top guy. So they've tried to push this sexual liberation, hoping to get a little bit of pussy, and it probably works a little bit. But society's destroyed by extension. If you want to look at society for what it is, because what is society anything other than rearing and raising children? That's what society should be, I would argue. Society should be, the primary function of it should be, let's have kids so that we have a population. We have a population collapse in the West.
Yeah, I think they should have a choice. I before used to think, oh my God, I really want kids, I want a family. But it's because I was so naive to what else was open to the world. I just thought, okay, I need to get married. I need to, have children. I need to get a good job. And that was what I thought life was. And then I was like, fuck, there's so much more to life rather than just staying in that, finishing school, going to uni, getting married, buying a house. And you just copy everyone else. Like half the shit we do is because someone else has done it.
Okay, Bonnie, so let me ask you a question. I agree with you that now that we've opened up female horizons with education, with jobs, with the capability of making money, with Instagram and all these offers they get to fly around the world and all these things, women don't want to have kids, or they want to have kids later because they have a lot more options. I agree with you. But would you argue, if you were to look at it selflessly, not about the ant, but about the ant farm at large, that keeping women's horizons more narrow so they focused on rearing children would be better for society than the current society we're in, where we have to import a whole bunch of fuck knows who's into the country to try and maintain a population because the white people aren't even having any fucking kids because the white women are too busy sucking dicks in Magaluf?
Did you understand that?
To a certain degree, but I also couldn't give a shit. The world's going to shit anyway, so whether or not we've got more kids in it or not, it's fucked regardless. So just live your life the best. You're going to be dead in however many years anyway.
Fair.
So don't stress too much.
Fair.
And that is women's pathology. We all know the saying. Women will destroy their family for their happiness. Men will sacrifice his happiness for his family. This is the prime example of what we're seeing here on a different scale. Women don't care about societies. You're now going to see demonstrated here, clear as day. Women like this, and this is a feminist mindset, is that I don't care if society collapses. I don't care if I do not reproduce and we disappear tomorrow. I am going to enjoy me right now. I don't even look at my future. Right now, am I happy? And that's all I care about. I keep telling you, gentlemen, women cannot see the future. They're not interested. It's only about now, right now. I think Andrew is going to demonstrate this right now.
Fair. And this is what I like about Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue is my favorite. This is my favorite everything. Fair. Because what you just said, I understand and I agree with.
But it's selfish.
But what have I said?
Why should I not be selfish? Why should I give a shit about someone else that pays less tax than me, has, sits and complains, makes shitty TikToks about me? Like, I couldn't give a shit if your life's going to shit. By the looks of it, you live in a council house, you've got a couple of kids with different dads. I don't care. So why should I sit there and think, fuck, I should do something to help you? I don't care. I should focus on myself. And if more people did that, the world would actually be a better place. But they become so fixated on other people. I'm like, where's your life? Why are you not focused on yourself? Like, look in the mirror, you're fat, go and do something about it. Your teeth have that much plaque on it. Like, you're fucked. Like, there's no way out for you.
No, but what
is this a good role model?
No, yes, because what Bonnie's saying is important here. And it's not about what she's saying. It's about the general attitude. Because what I want to make clear, the reason society was run by men for so long is that men have a different biological instinct to women, and we're prepared to suffer for the greater good. Women are not very good at suffering. Men are good sufferers.
Look back at the wars. There's so much evidence of it.
Well, of course. And also, let's just look at the normal family. You talked about these men who come and see you, right?
Yeah.
But happy wife, happy life is true. And the reason it's true is because if the wife is unhappy, everyone's miserable because she'll make sure of it. But if the man's unhappy, everyone else can be happy. He'll suffer. He'll sit with no sex. He'll go to work every day.
Yeah.
He won't see his friends. He'll be miserable. He'll be depressed. He'll still pay the bills. He'll still pay the taxes. And everyone else gets to be happy. Men are good at suffering. Women are spiteful sufferers. And for that reason, they struggle to do anything. They struggle to suffer themselves for any greater good. Men have always died for a greater good. Men have always said, this is bad for me, but it's good for society. Bonnie just quite correctly, quite pertinently highlighted the fact that she believes in living her life the best way that she wants to live so she is happy. And I agree with you. That's what you should do. That's fine. Because you're a woman. That's how women think. Women don't think I shouldn't do this because I care about society by and large. Women don't think that way. And once you understand that logic, you can extrapolate that out to the fact that women shouldn't be in charge of a country ever. Because women are not prepared to take a bullet for a country ever.
I mean, I guess I contradict myself a little bit because I help society out a lot. And I do that because do you see how many dicks I drain? How many balls I've been emptied out on my face? How many cream pies I've taken and scooped it out?
And how does that help society?
Sex workers help, reduce rape rates by over 30%.
That sounds like a stat you just made up.
No, Google it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Mental health, it's good for mental health as well. It stops
the true
men
fact is
killing
32%.
Themselves. Yeah, stops men killing themselves. Sex work's an important part of the world.
Imagine if you're
Are you
a rapist.
saying that because you had a webcam business?
I'm not saying that because I had a webcam business. I'm saying that because it's absolutely and utterly true. The only point I was making earlier about women being in charge, I was actually trying to get to a final point. And the final point, I would argue, is that Bonnie has done no damage to society compared to giving the women the vote.
I've basically been a community worker.
Absolutely.
For example,
do you vote?
Not to be honest, I don't really know what's going on.
Okay, so do you vote?
No.
Okay, she's perfect. she's out here. She's sucking dick.
I am wife material.
She's sucking dick. She's not voting. This is the kind of women we need. This is done. This is fine. If we stop women, we take the women's vote away. If you said to me, Andrew, fix society.
Argue it. Argue the point. Seriously. No, I'm not saying this to all women, but do I want a Bonnie Blue voting? No, I really don't. She's a selfish woman. She can't see beyond her nose. It's all about me, me, me. But unfortunately, these are the type of women that are voting because the majority of the society has just turned into a culture of let me get the bag. What about me? So all social programs are going to be conditioned towards me. I need to get more back from the government. I can have kids and the government support me. I want all of my feminine care taken care of by the government. Yes, me. I get old. The government got to take care of me because I did not invest or put any money into my old age. Now I'm broke. The government should give me shelter. It should give me housing. It should give me every freaking thing. Feed me every day until the end of my time. That's what happens when we have women in power, just sucking from society. Women don't contribute to society. They suck from society in general. Now you understand why this man is hated, but it's true.
All the women can either vote or be like Bonnie. I'd be like, make them all like Bonnie, give the men the vote back. We'll fix all country.
Even your daughter.
Yeah, why would she need to vote? I'm voting. Why would she need to vote when I'm voting? You're going to vote against your father. What kind of world is that?
I'm going to fast forward on to a few shorter clips that were quite important. Of course, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want you guys to see some really good highlights that made sense.
Let's have kids. Let's just all live off the government. This is feminism. Because you don't live off the government if you have a husband. They don't want husbands. And they don't want husbands. Women want to get married, but they don't want husbands. They want to get married like Sex in the City style. You know, like you fuck a million men, then you get married to some really rich guy who lets you do whatever you want. Then you have an affair with the gardener, and then you spend all his money, and then somehow you're still the victim. That's the kind of marriage they want.
That's
most
women's dream.
That's right. They don't actually want to be wives because wives are obedient, and wives are quiet, and wives listen. All women say this. I want to marry you. I want to marry you. Wait till you're in an argument with them and read their messages and go, this is why I will never marry you. This is why I will never marry you. I read their messages and they don't realize that they've ruined their chance forever. I cannot marry you because of how you talk. A wife doesn't do this. I told you to be quiet 3 times.
What are you going to do? Go and get on that naughty corner.
That's right.
That naughty step.
So women don't want to be wives. They want to just get married, which means that the whole familiar structure is broken. Once the family structure is broken, who has to take the place? Government. Think about this. In Romania, we have no mental health care. Why are there no mental people or out in the streets? Family. We have no forced child support. Why are women not starving to death? Family. We have no disability care. Why are people not sitting on the streets with no legs? Family. Family does so much work. In the West, we have no family. So the government has to come along and offer mental health care, disability care, forced child support. The government has to do it because of feminism. So what I'm saying is if women don't want to get married to men anymore and they all want to listen to the fucking government, then the government can raise the motherfucking kids. Fine. Rob, you put 4 women in front of me, all different flavors. You give me Indian, Chinese, black, white, whatever. And you say you fuck them all and have a kid out of all of them and they'll all be raised on council estates around England. I'd say no problem. Why not? Why the fuck not? If they're real niggers, they'll survive.
If you don't feel guilty, that's your child.
Why would I feel guilty?
Because that's your child, it's your DNA.
Of course. And if the woman's nice to me and says, Andrew, I'm tired of living in Runcorn. Can I come live in Dubai in a mansion? I'll say, of course, my dear.
But then
if she annoys me, if she's like, oh, I'm here in Dubai and you left me by myself and you're with all these other women, who are all these whores on your boat?
Then I'll be like,
bitch, go back to Runcorn.
Take the kid off her.
No, I'm not going to take the kid off her. She can keep the kid.
But it's your DNA.
Yeah, of course. And my DNA is survivor DNA.
But if you've got a proper wife, that other wife will take that kid.
At least 5 of them will be real niggers. I don't need the other 45. Look, it's survival of the fittest out here. This is how it works. This is how my brain works. But you're saying, I don't know why we're going to sit here and create the logic fail of pretending it is wrong for a government to raise the children when that was a man's job, when men have had all of their authority removed. You want us to have the responsibility of a woman the responsibility of a family, the responsibility of children, the responsibilities with none of the authority. You can't tell a woman what to do. You can't tell her to be quiet. You can't tell your kids off. You can't tell her not to suck dick. You can't tell her not to go out with her friends. If you do any of that, it's emotionally coercive behavior. That's a criminal charge in England. Mm-hmm. If you tell your own wife not to go to the pub and fuck, you're the criminal.
Oh, you're so controlling.
That's right.
Let me do stuff.
But I'm still responsible? No. It looks like the government has more power than me. So if you want to play this game and take all of my authority away as a man, you want to reduce me to nothing more than a tax slave. Well, then I'm going to play your game back at you. I have no authority, so I have no responsibility. I will look after children, and I will look after the women who give me absolute authority over their lives, who say, yes, sir, anything you say, sir, I trust what you believe in the world. I trust you're guiding us. I trust you to take care of us. Yes, sir. Those women are driving Bentleys currently, living in mansions currently. And the women who say, I don't want to listen to you, I want to do what I want, are currently in council houses. And I have kids with all of them. And I don't give a fuck.
He has a point. Men have been stripped of all authority and given all the responsibility. He said it better than I can. Tell me I'm wrong.
I have kids with all of them. And I don't give a fuck. Because this is my masculine imperative, to impregnate. And when I die, no matter what you think of me, no matter what anyone thinks of me, no matter what anyone watches this, has a bad problem with me, whatever, I get to die with 100 children. I win. I had 100 kids. I was one of the most famous men on the planet, made hundreds of millions of dollars, spent a little time in jail, whatever. I win. Great life. Genghis Khan. There's men out there who go, oh no, do you know I've got my 2 kids, that's enough. That's your choice. To me, it sounds like failure. Perma-failure. And the only reason they're doing that is because their women wouldn't give them more. Or they're afraid to have kids with another woman in case their woman finds out.
A lot of guys, like I speak to, the wife wants another kid, but they don't want it because they know they'd have to work longer hours. They know they'd have to do more work. Yeah, the wife wants another kid because she's like, fucking hell, what's going to happen in a few months? I'm going to have to go back to work. I don't want to go back to work. Hey, I'm going to pop out another kid. So a lot of the time, I think the women do want more kids and the dads don't, but it's because of the pressure. They know that that additional kid is going to mean in terms of income.
It's because they're gay.
They're not gay.
They're gay.
Bonnie, do you think Andrew Tate is guilty of the charges against him?
I don't know. What's the saying? Innocent till proven... No, yeah, innocent till proven guilty. Are you a rapist?
What do you really think? What do you think?
No, I think why would he? He gets pussy easy enough. Why go and cause drama for yourself?
Bonnie is the most based person. You know that you're probably one of the smartest women I've spoken to.
I'm quite smart. To say I'm a slut, I have a brain and I am smart, only in what I do. For example, like, if you ask me about sex work, media or marketing, I've got an answer. You ask me about other shit, I don't know. I don't even know where. I thought it was on an island right now. We're not. But I think, why would someone like Andrew go and rape someone? He can get unlimited pussy. Why cause a headache for yourself? Why go and pay a lawyer? Why give more money to the government? He could just join my queue. I've seen him there multiple times.
All right, I was with you till then. Bonnie's based. Bonnie understands the world very well. I think that's why we kind of understand each other. She understands the world very well. Of course, I haven't raped anyone. What I did was not buy girls handbags who wanted handbags, and then they did what women do, which is cry rape.
They want attention and they want money.
Of course. They want attention and money. Everyone with a brain knows they want attention and money.
Did they cry rape, or was it the system that came for you first?
Well, this is the thing. When the system starts calling every single woman and promises them money, and you've slept with a bunch of them, they only need to find 1 or 2 out of the 1,000, and then there you go. And then they can make criminal charges on you, which is what they did to me. They call 1,000 women. They find a couple who want money or fame, and they get them to make lies up about you so that the government can attack you. This is my point by and large. This is why, if anyone's confused about my opinions on anything, I want you to understand, men now, we are such second-class citizens. We have no authority. We have no autonomy. We have nothing left inside of us because we have no capability to even defend ourselves against heinous allegations which are raised in retrospect of action. We're expected to pay all the taxes. We're expected to build the roads. We're expected to go to work every day. We're expected to die in a ditch if the country needs defending. We're expected to stay on the boat when the boat is sinking. We're expected to do all of these things. But it turns out the government and women can wreck us by and large. We are nothing but slaves and serfs to the matriarchy now. And because we live in this matriarchal system where men are absolutely abused, nobody gives a shit about our mental health. Nobody gives a shit about our physical health. All we talk about is breast cancer. That's not even the top 10 cancers, I believe. I think prostate cancer's 10 times the amount. Nobody gives a fuck if men die. Nobody gives a fuck if we kill ourselves. Nobody cares if we do worse in school. Nobody cares if most of us go to jail. They don't care about any of it. So we are slaves. So what I do as a slave is say, well, if I'm a slave here in this system, then I don't see why I need to be responsible enough to worry about paying for this kid, for example. If you're going to treat me like a fucking bitch and the government's going to come along like Big Daddy, is going to poison my woman's mind so she doesn't listen to me, is going to rape me in a divorce court, is going to throw me in jail based on false allegations, then how about you pay for the fucking children? Fuck you. That's my view.
What do you think about that? Do you think like men are the lowest in society now?
I think men, if they speak out, they literally don't have a word against women nowadays, especially with rape, there is a lot of men that get away with it, and that's terrible. But there's a lot of girls that just haven't got the right way, and the next day they cry rape. And I'm not saying that's all women. Rape does happen. It happens regardless. But like blaming Andrew for that, it's just girls that want attention. Those girls come forward like, oh my God, I'm the girl that Andrew Tate raped. Their Instagram will shoot through the roof. They'll get paid. They'll probably get some sort of clothing brand deal because it's, oh my God, it's women empowerment. Look, you spoke out against someone that's, so hated. They'll be credited, even though their stories are fake. They're the ones that will get praised.
100%. Bonnie is smart.
But you blame feminism on it.
Well, I blame a society in which women have been told that they can do and have anything they want all of the time. And we live in this unrealistic subsect of events. The world we now live in is completely unrealistic on basically every level.
That's how Bonnie is living, isn't it?
Well, no, I think Bonnie is actually taking...
I'm not crying rape. I'm not saying,
not crying rape.
People are taking advantage of me. I'm there saying, look, I'm a slut, I'm a whore, my holes are open. Come do it. But then when women say I'm taking them back, I'll give you the stats that I'm actually reducing rape rates.
But Rob, this is important because Bonnie is the only person who is honest. Saying I'm a whore, fuck me, and I'll make money from it is far more honest than saying, oh, I love you so much, I'll be your girlfriend. Oh, can you buy me this handbag? Oh, you won't buy me the handbag, rape. Or I love you so much, let's get married. Oh, I'm unhappy in this marriage, give me half your stuff. She's the most honest woman of all. This is exactly what men should be hoping for, to meet a woman this honest. Because most women... I'm
not going to hide my past. I'm not going to say, you know what, I'm really innocent. I'll say, you know what, I fucked 1,057 men. Yes, I want to get to a body goal of 10,000. But I am honest. I'm not hiding it. My phone hasn't got a password. Like, I am just so open and transparent.
You want to get to a body count of 10,000 men?
Yeah.
Would you rather meet Bonnie, who tells you all of this, or a woman who goes, oh, really? No, I haven't really done much, when she's done everything and she's been a total fucking whore and she's lying to you? And then you marry her believing she's a good girl, and then she takes you to the divorce court and completely wrecks you. You know what? Men say, oh, my woman's not a gold digger. Go to divorce court. Don't talk about gold diggers. Go to divorce court and you will soon learn that every single female on the planet wants your money. All. I've never seen anybody go to divorce court and say, she's not after my money, funnily enough. She just wants to get a divorce. No, every single time they want every fucking... The house. They want to take everything. They're all gold diggers.
My friends, I heard no lies. And the thing is, this type of knowledge is kept away from so many men. Andrew has a very explosive, expressive way of getting these points across. I will say it with a softer tone, but it's the same message. The angel you marry is not the devil you divorce. Because that woman, when you divorce her, she needs to feel like she's going to be secure financially going forward in life. So she's going to take as much as she can get. And the government permits her to do this. That's why the marriage rates are so low.
So it's actually very interesting. I respect Bonnie because you know exactly what you're getting. If you show me a scorpion and I know you're a scorpion, fine. Don't put a scorpion in a fucking bunny suit. You understand?
With me, you get good technique and money.
It's honest. I respect the honesty of it. And people are going to sit here, and there are people who do it. They're going to sit here and go, what Bonnie Blue does is disgusting. Ain't that right, babe? Ain't that right, babe? And they'll hold Babe's hand, knowing that Babe's fucking worse. Babe's a fucking skank. They met her in a fucking pub, three Jägermeisters in. She's prepared to fuck that guy, whoever he is, who's a fucking nobody. You're watching this at home, all you guys watching this at home, and you think your wife really loves you. Do you think I couldn't take your bitch? Of course I could. She chose you because she ain't met me, bruv. That's it. So, like, you're pretending your wife's any better? It's bullshit. I love Bonnie's honesty.
All right, my friends, listen, I don't want to make this too long. Listen, there's so much more crazy, juicy information in this podcast. Go over there and support this, gentlemen. And I'm telling you, man, you'll learn a lot from it. Let me know what you guys think about Bonnie Blue and Andrew Tate. Let's have a conversation in the comment section. Listen, don't focus so much on what the media have fed you about Andrew Tate. And listen, even though Bonnie Blue has expressed exactly who she is and what she's done and what she's trying to do, you have to admit there's a lot of truth in what she said. She's being open and straightforward. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so my friends, listen, once again, thank you so much for joining me today. Of course, like this video on the way out, book a session if you ever need any help. And my friends, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.